So let's talk about architecture and also about whiskey. My two favorite topics. Uh, this was done during a snowstorm, and I was working on my portfolio. And I was walking through the neighborhood. I used to live at 197 Van Nostrand Avenue, and I went around with a 35 millimeter manual camera, black and white film, photographing around the neighborhood. And these first shots were done during a snowstorm in the winter of probably January. And as I walked around, I just took random pictures. This was done at the park, probably 4 or 5 blocks away. This was driving down Bergen Avenue in Jersey City and just shooting out of a car window. Also, in where I was living at, through my bedroom window, shot across the street, looking at the house across Van Nostrand Avenue, and also an apartment building on the corner of Van Nostrand and Martin Luther King Boulevard, which will be in the next shot here. This building. I went back and looked at this building. It's beautiful brickwork. This home here across the street, as you can see from the home on the left and the right, basically a cookie cutter. I have another shot showing down the block, showing there were several homes built possibly by the same contractor in the same profile. While I was shooting this, I was just taking a walk around the neighborhood. From this is down Van Nostrand Avenue. The apartment or the home I was living in was on the right side. And down the block, you're looking towards Martin Luther King. And further on, you'll have Ocean Avenue. Again, Audubon Park had recently been a complete renovation of the park, adding new equipment, new walkways, beautifully done. I don't know what it was about this, but I'm thinking it was the brickwork. I really love homes and buildings built out of brick. From here, as also from the first slide, is a firehouse. This is on the right side, left side I should say, and this was firehouse, I think it was ladder 8 and engine 19 on Bergen Avenue. And I lived in the house all the way down the block here on the right side. As I mentioned, this is the shot from on the left side here. You can see all those homes are basically identical there. And I'm just making an assumption that they were probably built by the same contractor or builder. They all look identical. And throughout time, possibly, that each homeowner tried to add their own identity to it by adding additions, new siding, painting, adding a balcony, as one of those homes has it. Also, it was probably around this time I think I had to begin defining my love of architecture, because you needed to possibly present that within your portfolio and explain why you want it to be accepted within an architecture program. But I'm not sure I was able to quite display that or show that. And right now, as I work through my exams, I'm trying to define my love of architecture. Not just love of using bricks, but what my architecture style should be and how I should define it. And I'm still working that out as I go through the exams and through my profession. It's very difficult to do that when you're working underneath another architect, because you have to work their vision and their style through. And I hope throughout time that I would be able to define my style, not just say I love architecture, I love what it is. It's the same thing as trying to find why I love great whiskeys and scotches. Dewar wasn't my first whiskey to drink, but it's a good whiskey. And this was shot at my current residence in Bayonne. And I went out probably late afternoon to do this shot. And I cut it trying to do something interesting by adding limes and oranges to it. And shot this out on the balcony using my cell phone. You can't really distinguish from myself one whiskey or another unless you try one and then immediately, maybe a day or two, try another one. Because I didn't notice that until I switched from Dewar's Scotch to a completely different one. And I will be trying different other Scotch and also the whiskeys to see which one I really admire. And same as working through my understanding of architecture, I'll do the same thing as understanding whiskeys and see which one I truly appreciate and which ones I believe I should just drink straight, add water, ice, or lime, or orange, or whatever suggestions to make it, to enhance the taste of it. But also staying true to what's being offered and staying true to myself of what I believe architecture should be and how I look to present architecture. From my portfolio, I was still learning, and I'm not sure you could really, on your last year of high school and also entering into college, actually say, this is why I want architecture. Until you get into it, and then you find out maybe this is not what I really want, and you switch to another career. But I think it's very hard to actually define why you want to be in architecture. And I think maybe it should be learned in high school. Maybe a brief introduction to all the professions so you can see which one you may desire to go on. I just knew that I wanted architecture from a very young age when I used to go through the New York Times real estate section and look at all the different plans, different floor layouts. And also I one time actually bought a stock floor plans book from the it was a Pathmark store, if anyone remembers that. And I just loved all the different floor plans mainly because I wanted to live in a home like that. and see these mansions, these beautifully built mansions. Also, the New York buildings, beautifully built high rises. With maid quarters, butler quarters, master bedrooms, libraries, dens, something that I didn't have growing up. I said, I probably would love to build something like that and live. More than building, just actually live in that. So as I go through my journey of understanding whiskeys, understanding architecture, and also understanding myself, I hope to have a more defined understanding of everything. And I hope you do the same thing. And let me know what you think about architecture, great whiskeys, and about life. And as we all work through life and work through everything, I hope to see you on the other side. Let me know what you think.